Alright, so um, basically what I'm going to show you right now is I'm going to show you how to make a little command in Java with Bukkit. So I'm also going to show you this really cool little trick you can use with IntelliJ. If you hold down the Alt key and then hit Insert, it'll come up with this nice little menu here that says Generate. So if you want to find out what all of the methods you can override in the Java plugin class, for example, you can go to Override Methods, and you'll see this giant list of things that you can override or implement. What we want to choose here is we want to choose the onCommand method. OnCommand method is going to show you, is going to be all about how we handle commands. So I'm just going to create a nice little command that checks if the command being run is called basic. So if command dot getName dot equals ignore case basic, then we're going to do things. Basically what this is going to do, when a command is run on the server, it will check the command against every plugin on the server, essentially, and run whatever code is specified for that command by checking it against every plugin. So what this line right here is doing is saying, if the command that is run, if the name is equal to basic, doesn't matter what case it is, then we're going to do stuff. So for the purposes of this, we're just going to have it send the command, the sender something. So sender dot send message. Your command was successful, and we want to return true here, because if we return false, it'll show the command to the player even after they ran it. It's really annoying looking. So for example, it would show your command was successful, and it would show a /basic in the chat log. It doesn't look very nice, so it's just generally a good idea to have it return true. So if we want the server to actually recognize our on command, we need to go into our plugin.yml and create a new section called commands. Then we want to create one that says basic. We can add a description. It sends a message to the sender. Then there's also, you can set aliases. So if you wanted this to happen when you said just /b, that's how you do that. You can set permission requirements, just various other things. I'll get into permissions in another video. That's an entirely different subject. So if we were to create this the same way that we created it from the last video, and we were to drag our Bukkit tutorial.jar into our Bukkit folder, our Bukkit plugins folder, and run our server. We could do basic, and it would tell us that our command was successful. We can also do this in game. As soon as it's finished loading, of course. If we go to our localhost, we can do /basic, and it'll tell us that our command was successful. The aliases, you can do /b, and it'll do your command was successful again. So that's pretty simple and easy. So that's how you do a really simple command. Listeners are a different subject. Listeners are really cool because they allow you to hook into the various events that Bukkit calls has played whenever certain things happen. So I'm going to show you how to change the material of a block whenever it gets punched. So in this case, you need to have your plugin implement listener. Listener is a Bukkit class that allows you to listen to all of these different events that get called. You want to create another method called public void on block damage event. You want to add an annotation on top of it that's at event handler. So inside your event handler, you want to do a event dot get block, and that'll get the specific block that's being damaged in the event. And then you want to set its type to in this case, let's do material dot gold block. So basically what this is going to do is every time a block is damaged, it's going to replace whatever it used to be with a gold block. Now that's all fine and dandy, but if we just built this and put it on the server, it wouldn't actually do anything. What we need to do is we need to register it with the server. So in your onEnable event, you want to say get server dot get plugin manager dot register events. And because this implements listener, we can do this, and since it wants a plugin, and our class here is, because it extends Java plugin, a plugin, we can just do this again. This is a special keyword in Java saying the particular class that we're using right now. So if we do it like this, and then we build it and put it on our server, and run our server. If we put it on our server and we run it, now every time a block gets turned into a golden block. So that's pretty neato, I think. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you how to change what they get set to whenever there's a block damaged, using a command. So let's start this off by creating a new field for the plugin. A field is like a constant. No, it's not exactly a constant. It's like a variable that stays until you change it. Variables in Java, if for example I was to do material equals material dot gold block. This right here would be what's referred to as a variable. This specifically is the variable, and this is the value that I'm initializing it to. If, for example, I wanted it to stay available even after the event, because variables go away after the method that they're in is over. If I wanted this to stay even after this method was over, I would create a field up here, private material equals dot gold block, and then anywhere in here, if I wanted to, I could change this to material dot anvil, let's say, and every block that I punch would get turned into an anvil. And it would change the value of material to anvil. Um, Inside the block damage event, instead of having this material.gold block, we want to change this to just material, all lowercase. So what this is going to do is every time we punch a block, it's going to look for the field named material, and it's going to set the type of that block to whatever the value of material is. So I'm going to, and because of this, I'm going to have to show you a slightly more complicated on command method. Let's leave it as basic for now, and we want to, and because we need to check arguments to it, so we can do /basic obsidian or /basic wool or some other thing like that. That's where this parameter args comes in. Args is everything that comes after the command itself. So if we want to make sure that we have an argument, we can do if args dot length is greater than 0, we'll do something here. Else under dot send message, your command was successful. So if the args.length is greater than 0, the string name equals args 0. So I'm going to explain what this is really quickly. String with these brackets after it. If anything has that kind of bracket after it, it's what is referred to as an array. Arrays are ordered groups of different classes in Java. A string in this case is anything that's text. So it can be the alphabet, it can be numbers, it can be symbols, anything that you display as text to somebody. And the way that you access the different things in an array is you take the name of the array, so in this case args, and the index of whatever element you're looking for. Arrays in all of the collections in Java are 0 based. So the first element in it is going to be 0 instead of 1. It's a little bit of an awkward transition for people who aren't used to that kind of thing, but it's really useful when you start to deal with things like this. To check how many elements there are in the array, you do this dot length thing, and then there are various other things you can do on the array, like args dot. You can clone it, so you can make another array. Arrays are just really nice because they're simple little holding things. Right. So what we want to do now is we want to try and figure out if the argument that got passed in is actually a valid material. So we want to do material mat equals material dot get material, and we want to pass in the name variable that we just made. And here, if the material isn't a valid one, we don't want it to do anything. So we do if mat is not equal to null, and then we change material to mat. In Java, this equal sign, a single equal sign does not mean, it does not check if they equal the same thing. It's an assignment operator. The equality to check and see if things are equal is equals. Two equal signs. To check if things are not equal, it's exclamation point equal sign. To check if things are greater, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, yada yada yada. It's a little bit complex, but it's really useful for making sure that the language isn't as confusing and complex as it could be if just a single equal sign but meant both assignment and check. So here we want to send the sender a message. So send a message of the material was changed. We want to do an else here that tells the sender that nothing happened. That was not a valid material. Please try again. Alright, so if we do that and build it, we can go into our test server. And we can so if I go and punch a block right now, it'll still be gold blocks. But if I do /basic, it says my command was successful. If I do /basic diamond block, for instance, it'll change all of the ones that I punched to diamond blocks. It's pretty nifty. And if I do something like /basic beef block, something that doesn't actually exist in the game, it'll tell me that that was not a valid material and that I should try again. It's really nice and really simple way of explaining what fields are, how to run commands to do cool things in game, and how to listen to that really simple event. In another tutorial, I'll show you how to do a couple more complex things, like I'll show you how to break all of the blocks of a certain kind in an area when you punch a block or other things like that. Just going to try and show you a couple of different really cool things that you can do. I don't really have any particular agenda to show you with other plugin tutorials that I'm going to make. I'm just going to show you some things that I think are really cool and that should help you learn how to do different things in Java and Bukkit. So I'll see you guys in a bit whenever I make my next video. I hope this was really helpful for you. If not, I'm sorry. There are other tutorials you should probably go check out, because those will be more helpful for you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you actually learned something from this and I was not just babbling.